You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN E-mini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things E-mini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon, welcome back. Today is Thursday, 26th day of June, 2025. Thursday means members only workshop tonight. If you've been on the trial and you want to be in the members only workshop tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, then you should have gotten an email yesterday or today. Take care of that business, and by golly, you'll be in the workshop tonight. And to the rest of the world, thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here, right now. We do 2 live broadcasts every trading day. Now, the first live broadcast, that's our live training room. So to get in there, you got to be a member or taking your 1-week free trial. If you have not yet taken your 1-week free trial, when Michael comes on at the top of the hour, he will walk you through step by step how to take the trial. It's quite simple. We'll get your indicators up and indicating today. Your trial will officially start tomorrow. And since tomorrow's Friday, the weekends are not going to count against you. And you're going to get all of next week. So I just turned your 5-day trial into a 6-day trial. Now, when you take the trial, you're not just getting access to the live training room. What we do for the duration of your trial is we treat you like you were already a member, a passport holder. So you do have access to the live training room, but you have access to everything else. With one exception, the members only workshop on Thursday night. To get in there, you gotta be a member. Now, when the live training room ends each day at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, we take a 30-minute break, and then we come back at noon for this broadcast, the afternoon broadcast, which, unlike the morning broadcast, is open to the public. Everybody everywhere on planet Earth and points beyond with an internet-connected device. There's 2 different ways to join this afternoon broadcast live. The best way, you only have to do it once. Go to mytradingiq.com. Scroll down the page to where it says Noon Broadcast. Click the link, fill out the 30-second registration form, and you're done. What will happen going forward is every trading day, you'll get an email about an hour before this broadcast starts. In that email, there will be a link. So at 12 noon Eastern, all you have to do is click the link in the email, and it will automatically log you into our platform. The benefit there is you'll immediately have access to the question box so that you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. Of course, there'll be days you're out of the office, away from the desktop. Maybe this time of year you're on vacation. Lucky you. But you still want to join live. And there'll be days when you're busy, can't join live, but want to get caught up later. Well, the good news is you can do both of those via our YouTube channel. And it's very easy to remember. youtube.com/CFRN. That's the Christian Financial Radio Network since 2005. But you don't have to remember all that. Just youtube.com/CFRN. Not only do we broadcast live every trading day on our YouTube channel, as we're doing right now, simulcasting, but we also archive each and every daily broadcast. Currently, there's over 2,800 daily episodes archived for your educational and viewing pleasure. Now, if you're new to our neck of the woods, it's a great way to get to know who we really are. Not just today, not just this week, but thanks to the power of YouTube, you can actually see how we've evolved over the years. You can scroll back 6 days, 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, even more. Obviously, you're not going to watch them all, nor do you need to. But it is a great resource to have at your fingertips, and it kind of lets you know we've been around a bit. A minute or two anyway. youtube.com/CFRN. This is the daily schedule for each afternoon broadcast. At the top of the hour, Michael will join us, give us a recap of what happened this morning in the live trading room, and then we'll do some live trading on the TradingView platform. And then I'll wrap everything up with our good word for the day. But we'll start where we always do, with our daily devotional. And we started a new topic yesterday. Holy hustle. Embracing a work hard, rest well life. I'm sure you know somebody, if it's not you, who has what's called today a side hustle. Maybe you drive Uber or have some other gig that you do along with your full-time job so you can pay the bills. Hustle used to have a negative connotation, and I kind of went over that yesterday. But the holy hustle has a very positive connotation. Today's scripture is 1 Corinthians 15, verse 58. And I'll share it with you from the Message translation. With all this going for us, my dear, dear friends, stand your ground and don't hold back. Throw yourselves into the work of the Master, confident that nothing you do for him is a waste of time or effort. 1 Corinthians 15:58. Now, I come from a long line of men and women who work hard. And by doing work that I love, I pray that my son and daughter will learn to chase their dreams, work hard, and obey God wherever he calls them. I pray they'll learn from me that holy hustle means embracing the work we've been given, but finding our worth in the one who created us to do it. Our work has worth, and what we do to serve God, our neighbors, and our families is important. But that's not what defines us. Scripture has quite a bit to say about the worth of hard work. Paul wrote to the Ephesians with the reminder that God had prepared good works for his children and that we have been created to do them. Ephesians 2:10. In another of Paul's letters, he encouraged the Corinthians to be steadfast, working with excellence, knowing that work done for God is not done in vain. 1 Corinthians 15:58. Now the Proverbs 31 woman worked with willing hands, bought and sold land out of her earnings, created, planted, managed. Proverbs 31:10. Deborah worked as a judge and was practically a military commander. Judges 4-5. Consider your thoughts, good and bad, about your work. What does your inner monologue tell you about the task you do every day? Do you feel like your work has value, or do you consider it not a big deal compared to the jobs, responsibilities, and roles of others? Do you feel like you're wasting your time staring at a computer while your family needs you? Or do you worry that you're missing out on time with your family? Do you, generally speaking, feel good, bad, guilty, or indifferent about your work? The work we do has worth when we do it to the glory of God and with a joyful heart. When He calls us to work, wherever it is and whatever it looks like, it's because it's part of His plan for us, part of how He created us to serve Him and love our neighbors. Maybe you work in a cubicle, and the guy in the cubicle next to you, or lady, just grates on your nerves. Everything they say and do, it's like you're being stabbed in the back. I don't know, it's just, ugh, right? But what if the reason you're in that cubicle next to that person is because that person has never been introduced to Jesus? And God has you there not to just stare at that computer screen and key in the data or do whatever it is that you do, but He has you there to share the gospel, the good news, with that person next to you. Next time you feel challenged at work, give that concept a little thought. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, thank You for the hope we have in Christ. Help us to stand firm, to be steadfast and immovable in our faith. Remind us that our labor for You is never in vain. Strengthen our hearts to serve You with purpose and joy. It's in Jesus' name we believe and pray. And everybody said, Amen. Amen, and happy Thursday. Let me give you the numbers from around the world. We'll start here in the U.S. with the cash markets, or the indices as they're called. The Dow's up 319 points. NASDAQ up 146. S&P 500 up 40. And the Russell 2000, our man in the street, is up 18. That's almost 1%. In the commodity basket, crude oil is up 99 cents, trading 65.95 last. That's a gain of over 1.5%. Gold is down $5.10, trading 33.37.30 last. And silver is up 45 cents, trading 36.55 last. That's a gain of almost 1.25%. In the Asian markets at the close, the Nikkei posted a gain of 642 points. That's well over 1.5%. The Shanghai dropped 7.5 points. The Hang Seng fell 149. And in the European markets at the close, FTSE up 16, the DAX up 150, the CAC down almost 1 point. So that gave us a mixed day in Asia. It was a mixed day for the UK. And so far, it's a big green Radio Thursday here in the US of A. So let's check out the global news. Iran's parliament voted yesterday to suspend cooperation with the International Atomic Energy Agency. The bill requires approval from the country's unelected 12-person Guardian Council and Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei to go into effect. There are competing claims about the impact of U.S. military strikes on Iran's nuclear program. President Trump maintains the strikes set Iran's program back decades, downplaying a leaked, treasonous U.S. intelligence report, which is completely false, suggesting a months-long delay. Trump said he will meet with Iran next week for negotiations, but that a deal is not necessary to degrade Iranian capabilities. Iran claims it moved its uranium stockpile out of nuclear facilities ahead of the strikes and now plans to accelerate enrichment. The country maintains its program is peaceful. You don't need 60% enriched uranium if all you want to do is build a power plant. Now, we know there were some mysterious planes that traveled from China to Iran and back again. If they've hidden it, we shall find it. And the Ayatollah has been told, we know where you sleep. Now, Israel already wanted to take him out, and Trump said, no, let's not do that just yet. But he continually reminds the Supreme Leader, who's hiding out in caves. We know right where he is. And with the military precision that those strikes showed us, I mean, you look at the map. Use a Yahoo map. The whole color of the mountain where Fordo is, it's a different color now. Yeah. We'll see what happens. Now, there was a press conference this morning. I didn't catch it. Separately, Trump touted progress in ceasefire talks between Israel and Hamas. Dozens of people were reported killed in Gaza while waiting for aid this week. 7 Israeli soldiers were killed in a bombing yesterday. I suspect before it's all over, we're going to have to do it again. But not in the same way. This time, they've had every chance in the world to come to the table, to embrace peace, and if they continue to refuse, well, I think we all know what's going to happen. At NATO yesterday, the Secretary of NATO called Trump Daddy. And the most beautiful thing, that part's just kind of a joke, but he did say it, is that all the members of the NATO nations are finally ponying up their fair share, 5% of their GDP, Spain somehow got an exemption. I don't know why. Moving on, festivities kick off in Venice this week for the high-profile wedding of Amazon founder Jeff Bezos and former TV journalist Lauren Sanchez. This wedding is a 3-day affair and will draw an estimated 200 to 250 wedding guests, potentially costing up to $76 million. The ceremony's precise location is not publicly known, but a reception is planned for Arsenal de Venezia, a centuries-old complex surrounded by water on the city's outer edge. The guest list reportedly includes Oprah Winfrey, Mick Jagger, Leonardo DiCaprio, Katy Perry, and Ivanka Trump. Attendees were asked not to provide gifts, with Bezos and Sanchez donating to the city in the guest's honor. Water levels in Venice are expected to rise by half a centimeter per year, with parts of the city permanently underwater by 2150. Protesters have gathered to demonstrate against wealth inequality and over-tourism under the banner, "No space for Bezos." You see what they did there? You know, he's a rocket man. Okay. Kenyan Olympian Faith Kipyegon will launch a Nike-backed bid to become the first woman in history to run a sub-4-minute mile. Now, the event will be in Paris's Stadium Sébastien Charletti at 1:15 p.m. Eastern. It will be televised. The 31-year-old Olympian has prepared since 2023 when she clocked a 4-minute and 7-second mile in Monaco, beating the previous record by over 4 seconds. While today's event is ineligible for official record contention, Nike hopes it will boost women's line sales, which saw 4.4% growth since 2021, compared to 13.5% for the men's line. The company recently doubled its research investment into female athletes' anatomy and biodynamics. Kipyegon will sport Nike's latest prototypes, a suit with nodes designed to reduce drag, a bra made of 3D printed moisture-wicking material, and shoes that are 25% lighter than the model she wore in last year's Olympics. The first man to crack the 4-minute mile was Roger Bannister on a rainy, overcast day back in 1954. Now, up until that point, no one thought it was possible for a human to break the 4-minute mile. But interestingly, once Roger Bannister did it, people started doing it all over the place. That's the power of suggestion. Okay, leaving global news and turning to Wall Street. President Trump is getting closer to naming his replacement for Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell as his patience with the central bank chairman runs out. Trump told reporters Wednesday that he's down to 3 or 4 candidates. He could announce his pick soon. The possibilities: these people who choose to remain anonymous include former Fed Governor Kevin Warsh, National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, former World Bank President David Malpass, and Fed Governor Christopher Waller. The Wall Street Journal reported late yesterday that he could announce his final pick by September or October, or even this summer, to undercut Powell's authority for the remainder of his term, ending in May of next year. The Journal also reported on the list of possible candidates. I don't care who it is. Just get Jerome out of there before he's... the goal is to drive the country into a recession, which will be Powell's fault for not lowering rates a year ago. And they'll be able to blame it all on Trump. See, we told you. What a scheme. What a scam. It wasn't that long ago that fears of a Chinese startup's AI advancements channeled a mix of anxieties about overblown tech stocks. Along with the trade war, several storylines from reckless AI spending to sky-high valuations folded neatly into an argument that maybe this was the one step back after the two steps forward over the past couple of years. But after a bout of plunging stock prices, big tech has mounted a comeback, and then some. The off-the-charts excitement, now that a suit of catalysts, trade war, Iran-Israel, and Fed cut hopes have been put to the side, is palpable. Right now, as DataTrek's Nicholas Colas put it, a bullish call on U.S. large caps therefore requires believing that we can get to a 1999 type valuation. Well, let's not forget what happened in 2000, when it all came tumbling down. Nvidia continued to tick higher today, rising 1.1% in early trading after notching a record high above $154 yesterday. The gains come amid bullish predictions for the AI chip market on Wall Street. BlackRock's going to get involved in the retirement business. BlackRock is said to include private assets in its retirement plans as it expands into alternative investments. The move marks a significant shift in how retirement products are structured, bringing traditionally illiquid and high-fee private market investments into mainstream retirement portfolios. The New York-based firm plans to offer a target date fund, an age-based retirement investment that combines stocks, bonds, and other assets with allocations to private equity and private credit in the first half of 2026. Retirement money is a core business for BlackRock and accounts for more than half of the money the company manages, which is in the trillions of dollars. U.S. home sales rose more than expected. Contracts to buy previously owned U.S. homes increased more than expected in May, but higher mortgage rates remain a constraint for buyers. The National Association of Realtors said today its pending home sales index, based on signed contracts, increased 1.8% to 72.6 last month. Sales rose in all four regions. Economists polled by Reuters had forecast contracts, which becomes sales after a month or two, would edge up 0.1%. And we got 1.8%. Pending home sales advanced 1.1% from a year earlier. People have jobs. There's lots of jobs out there. Just can't afford a mortgage at the current rates. Palantir Technologies, PLTR. Their shares rose to a new record high today as the data integration software maker is taking advantage of the soaring demand for electricity to drive artificial intelligence data centers by striking a deal with a big nuclear power plant builder. The company announced a strategic partnership with the nuclear company, which it calls the leading gigawatt-scale deployment of nuclear power across America and pioneering the modernization of nuclear construction. The deal calls for the two firms to co-develop and deploy NOS, the first AI-driven real-time software system built exclusively for nuclear construction. NOS will be used to help the nuclear company build plants faster, safer, and at lower cost. And on that news, Palantir is up about a little over 1.5% as we speak. And last from Wall Street, YouTube is rolling out new AI-powered features to help users find content and information more easily. The platform is launching an AI-powered search results carousel, similar to Google's AI overviews, and is also testing conversational AI with more users. The new AI-powered search results carousel, available only to YouTube Premium users in the US, will suggest videos and display brief AI-generated topic descriptions to help users find what they're looking for faster. Well, that covers the global news, the Wall Street news. Dun, 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 dun. Time now for the local news. Logic 247, our 24/7 around-the-clock Emini alert service. We're in week 360 of Logic 247. Over the last 360 weeks, we've issued 19,998 individual handcrafted alerts. We're 2 alerts away from that big 20,000 round number we've been talking about. And that's also why we only have 22 alerts issued so far this week. I was trying to stretch it out. Valerie did the recap this morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern. She'll update it this afternoon if there's anything to update, as she always does. At the time she did the recap this morning, since the markets opened Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern, we've issued a total of 22 alerts. A typical week of late has been like 70-something alerts. At the time she did the recap, we were still waiting on the outcome of 6. That gave us 16 actionable alerts, of which 2, or 13%, would have been stopped out, again based on market structure and a very simple process that we teach all of our passport holders. Last week we had 70-something alerts and we had 2% stopped out. Now, based on what happens the remainder of the week, the rest of the day and tomorrow, we could see this number go up or come down. We'll see. A lot has to do with what happens to these 6 that are still pending. Now, 360 weeks is a very long time. But years before we had Logic 247, we had our original alert service, the Concierge Trade Alerts. Now, the Logic alerts can come out anytime around the clock, 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. Futures trade around the clock. We have traders around the globe. Our day session is their night session, and vice versa. Every Logic alert has an entry price, an initial target designed to help you get your goal for the day, and then usually additional targets and then a final trade to target. The CTAs are different. They don't come out around the clock. They're published as a static report, typically 5 minutes before the market opens at 6 p.m. Eastern. Now, we all know today's the Thursday session, but the Thursday session began last night at 6 p.m. Eastern. And 5 minutes before the markets opened, all of our traders and all of our trial members had all of these targets: S&P 500, the Dow, the Russell, crude oil, the NQ, gold, and silver. So as we go through the individual markets and you see these targets drawn out on the charts, just remember, if you were one of our traders, you'd have had those targets 5 minutes before the market opened. So let's go to the charts. And we got some work to do here. Talked about this yesterday. And the time has come. Now, for months we talked about this area right here being potential major resistance, and it was. And then we said the next potential major resistance would be here at 61.61, where we had the previous bearish cross. Well, yesterday, that area, we had a high yesterday of 61.60 and a quarter. 3 ticks shy of that 61.61 resistance, which is pretty good when you can see it months ahead of time. But now we've overcome it. And I've been saying for months that once we took out that bearish cross, which we have now done, and I'm pretty sure we'll close above it today. Now, these are reverse fibs. When you're in a downtrend, okay, you draw your fibs from the high to the low. But when you're in an uptrend, which we obviously are now, you draw from the low to the high. So we're going to click here, and there go the reverse fibs. Now we're going to go to this low, and we're going to draw up to the current high. Now, as long as we keep climbing, we'll keep bumping this top line up. This line down here, what's that low? 48.77 half. See how close we can get. It's 48.79. All right, we'll go with 48.79 from now. The low is actually 77.5. I'll fidget with it later. So we've overcome this resistance. Now it took some work. We had a pullback, and then we hit that area again, and then we had another retracement, and then we stalled out yesterday with this tiny doji right at that area that we've highlighted for months. Now we're above it. Okay. And again, as the market continues to climb, this top line will be adjusted to embrace the higher prices. So where's the next major resistance? It's right here at 62.48. You might want to write that down. 62.48. Okay. In fact, I'll write it down. I'm not going to draw the line right now, but you can see it. Right here. Top of this candle where blue turned to red. Then if we get through that, then we'll be dealing with this area right here, 62.74. 62.74. Okay. Now, the green line you see is called the BBC. It stands for bull bear cross. When price crosses below the green line, we're bearish and expect lower prices. When price crosses above the green line, we're bullish and expect higher prices. Price always reverts to the mean. In our case, the mean is green. We call it the BBC. Now, price rarely travels in a straight line. You get a leg and a retracement, a leg and a retracement, a leg and a retracement. Notice that the pullback holds more often than it doesn't. And then as soon as we closed above the BBC on April 24th, the first pullback held, the second pullback held, the third and the fourth and the fifth pullback held. So just remember, the pullback holds more often than it doesn't. Now, whether you trade futures, stocks, crypto, Forex, ETFs, I encourage you, I challenge you to spend 2 minutes with the daily chart of whatever it is you're about to trade on the smaller time frames. You see, institutional traders, the really deep pockets, like BlackRock, who trade in incredible size, they're the ones that actually move price. So, they look at daily, weekly, and monthly charts the way you and I look at 30-minute charts, 5-minute charts, tick charts, and range charts. Has everything to do with account size. So if you'll spend 2 minutes with the daily chart of whatever you're about to trade, you can see what the deep pockets are doing. Obviously, they've been doing a lot of buying since the session opened. Along with getting a free look over the shoulder of the deep pockets, you're able to identify, as we successfully did here, and we've now done here, okay? You're able to identify those areas and put a price to them. We know we've got potential support at the step line, blue and climbing, the BBC, and then this little double bottom right here, and then down here, okay? So you're accomplishing a lot of things, and if you'll do that, if you'll spend 2 minutes with the daily chart, just do it for a month. If you do it, I don't think you'll ever go back. It provides you with a lot of very valuable information. That's if you know how to read a chart. The Logic 247 alerts, while sure you can trade them, the real purpose for them is to help you learn how to read a chart. Here's the ES. All alerts, the logic alerts, the concierge trade alerts, they're all created on the 30-minute chart. There's nothing magic about 30 minutes. It's just the time frame I chose years ago, and I've stuck with it. They say if it's not broke, leave it alone. So, on yesterday's broadcast, we drew a short window of opportunity based off Tuesday's price action, and we came right down to the top of the window, found support, and headed north. This was the opening candle last night, right here, 6 p.m. Eastern. But all of our traders had these targets 5 minutes ahead of the open. So we opened, we consolidated along the BBC, but we had blue and climbing on our side, and that took us right up to that long target to the tick. See right here where blue turned to red? That's the long target. We hit it to the tick. Resistance will send the market looking for support, which it found at the step line in blue and climbing. So we go back to the long target, then we get a little retracement, and then we clear it. We get a leg, a retracement, a leg, a retracement, a leg, and then we get a pullback to the BBC. Pullback held, the pullback held, and the pullback held. Now if you're new, you might say, well, but it spiked through the BBC. Yeah, it did. But look where the 30-minute candle closed. This was a red candle all the way down. But by the end of the 30-minute period, price was all the way back up here. Same here. Same here. Now, we may have seen the high of the session. And why do I say that? Notice that the black step line is starting to hook to the right. Okay? When the black step line crosses to the right side of blue and climbing, that's when we expect a retracement back to the BBC. See right here where the step line crossed to the right side? What did we get? Pull back to the BBC. Now, just this one candle right here. It opened last night at 61.49. We'll call it 61.50. It ran up to 61.55, the target. That's 5 points. You only need 2 points to get your goal for the day. And then it's just been one nice long opportunity after another, the whole session. The Dow. This is where we opened last night. This was the opening candle. The vertical line separates today, Thursday, from yesterday, Wednesday. If I scroll back, you'll see Tuesday, you'll see Monday. Now, when price rallies up to a weekly trading zone, we expect it to be resistance till proven otherwise. When price drops to a weekly trading zone, we expect it to be support until proven otherwise. We've published the zones every week for our traders since December 14th of 2009. 15 and a half years. Now, we've still got one more zone overhead on the Dow, on the ES. We opened, we're below the BBC, but we had blue and climbing. So that is potential support. And what did it do? It walked us above the BBC. We got a leg, a little retracement, and then a leg that took us right up to the target. We consolidated along the target for quite a bit, quite a few hours. Then the pullback to the BBC held. Then it held again. Now look where we are. But I want you to look at that black step line. When it starts that, and it's just barely angling to the right. But here's a clue. If I put my cursor right here, you see how the step line is directly above blue and climbing? That's your first indication that it's going to try to cross. Okay? So, I'm not forecasting this as the high of the day yet. I mean, we could pull back to the BBC and then still have a rally into the close. That's certainly a possibility. The Russell. Yesterday we had drawn this short window during the live broadcast. This is Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday. So we went all the way back to Tuesday to find the right market structure to draw this short window. And we filled it beautifully. And then basically filled it again. But this was the opening candle. Once red and falling, see when red and falling gets directly below price, it becomes potential support. Because it's probably on its way to becoming blue and climbing. One is bearish, the other is bullish. So we consolidate at the weekly zone for hours. Only one of three things happens when price reaches a weekly trading zone. 70% of the time it's consolidation. 20% of the time it's rejection. 10% of the time it's the slice. So we got a leg and a retracement, and a leg and a retracement, and then boom, we ran right up to the long target, which was based on yesterday's bearish cross. That's when the red line gets below the green line. When you have a bearish cross that leads to an extended move, the first time price revisits that area will almost always be good resistance. And we're just consolidating right now at the long target. So It's still acting as good resistance. We drew this long window yesterday on the broadcast. It has not filled yet. Short window filled, long window didn't. This was a window drawn the previous day, and as I pointed out yesterday, that filled very nicely. The NQ. Yesterday we drew this long window of opportunity. We filled it before the session closed yesterday, and then this was the opening candle last night. We filled it again, and then we pulled back to the VBC and blue and climbing. We almost filled it there, pulled back to the bottom of the window, filled it there, and then continued right on up to the long target, to the tick. You see where blue turned to red right there? Long target. And the NQ, you only need 10 points. Actually, you only need 5 points to get your goal for the day. Now this window was basically 22, let's just call it 22,470 to 86. At 16 points, $20 a point, $320 per contract traded. If you've earned the right to trade 10 contracts, then that's $3,200. So once we broke free of the long target, got a retracement, pullback held, and this pullback held because when the candle closed, it was above the BBC. So we get another leg, we get a retracement, and now the step line. See how it's starting to lean to the right? As that thing crosses to the right side of blue and climbing, look for price to come back to the BBC. Crude, it's been on a snooze fest for a couple days. Finally broke out of it. This is where we opened last night. This was the opening candle, and we're just flat all night. And then the London Open right here took us below, and we missed the short target by, what's the low of that candle? 66. So we missed it by 11 ticks. Then price, or red and falling, turned to blue and climbing. Price got above the BBC, and off we go. We hit the long target. We exceeded it a little bit. Now we've pulled back, and as you can see, the step line is about to cross. So it's a pretty short trip to the BBC. Now I think this pullback's going to hold, and I've been saying it for a couple days, but I think we're going to see higher prices on crude. We'll see. Gold. Yesterday we drew this window during the live broadcast, 33.55 to 33.57, and we filled it right there, and then we filled it again. We got almost to the zone, 33.66/67. The market ran out of steam, so we retraced. See the step line getting on the right side of blue and climbing? We come back to the BBC, the pullback holds, and it holds, and it holds, until it doesn't. Now, 33.44/45 is the zone. Support sends us to resistance at red and falling. Resistance sends us to support at the short target. Consolidated along the short target for a couple of hours, and buyers came in, took us up to the, see how the step line crossed, got on the right side. See, coming down, you got the step line, red and falling. You can obviously see that the black step line is on the left side of red and falling, but right here it crosses over. Okay. And I would think that red and falling is about to turn to blue and climbing. Now we've got a bearish cross right here. So I may have been what's the high of this candle? 48, 47 to 48. That's pretty conservative. But you got to take out the high of this candle. And then the long target's potential resistance. And then here, here, and here. And last, silver. We drew this long window of opportunity yesterday during the live broadcast. Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday. We went all the way back to Monday to find the spot for the window of opportunity. And going into the close yesterday, we filled it nicely. This was the opening candle last night. Took us right up to the long target. Now this candle here opened at 22, ran up to 28. That's $300 per contract traded. We hit blue and climbing resistance that sent price back to support right here. See the low of this little doji? Support. Which sends us to resistance at the zone. That's what we expect. 70% of the time. You're going to get consolidation. And then price retraces to the VVC, the pullback holds, sends us back to the zone. And then we get another pullback. And then that takes us all the way up to the zone where we find resistance, which sends us back to the top of the long target. And then we launch again. Now we got blue and climbing just about to cross the BBC. So let price get I'll go ahead and draw this in now in case silver takes off on us. But I'll draw some more in after Michael's done. Okay, but he is here right now. He's going to give us a recap of what happened this morning in the live training room, and then do a little live trading on the TradingView platform. I'll come back, we'll draw some windows of opportunity, and wrap things up with a good word for the day.
Yes, yes, indeed, we will do all that. All right, let me bring it over here. Should be on its way. All right, now. Did we get any movement today? After, yeah, there's a little bit of movement.
Not a lot. I'm thinking the indices may have topped out, but I'm not. It's not an official forecast. It's just
hit that spot. That spot. Well, it got over it. I think it got over that spot.
Oh yeah, we yesterday it held. Yesterday, that previous bearish cross held it in check. We got within 3 ticks of it. But then on today's session, we've blown through it, and I've now changed the reverse fibs on the daily chart to regular fibs because we're obviously now in an uptrend. How long will it last? I do not know. But anyway,
if we close up here today, it should be pretty smooth sailing up to all-time highs.
Yep, right there where blue turns to red. That's the first resistance I would look for you to run into.
Right in here.
And then that candle, and then the one prior to that.
The one prior to that, it's all-time high in December.
And then we'll be looking at that December 6th.
December 6th, yep. Right there.
That's the all-time historic high. Now,
who could have saw that?
Yeah, turn on any legacy news channel, and they'll tell you that the economy's collapsing. We're
Yeah.
headed into a recession, a depression. Market's at
Tariffs
all-time
are
highs.
horrible. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Tariffs are
Just
horrible. It's going to ruin the economy. It's going to ruin the country.
world's coming to an end.
And look, how long ago did we draw this in?
It's been a long time.
We drew this before it happened, and that was a month ago, 23rd of May.
Mm-hmm.
We drew that before it happened, probably like here in the beginning of May. I was saying this is where it's going to pull back to when it hits the BBC. That's what we were saying. It's going to pull back and bounce off the BBC. Look for a bounce there that would give you the other shoulder and push up. Okay, so right. I said this morning, and I'm going to say again right now, if something happens and you get another opportunity like this, it drops down to the BBC right now, that would be a great opportunity to buy some leaps. Because there's no reason for it to keep going down. The markets they're not made to go down.
I know you're not trading crude these days, and for 2 days I've been talking about crude moving higher, but I'm sticking with my story. I still think it's going to move higher.
I did look at it this morning once really quick to see if we might have something there that we could use, but there was nothing there this morning when I looked at it. It was right in here when I was looking at it. Let's look at that on a daily too. Woo. It's at a good spot to bounce right here.
Yeah, it is.
If you look from here to here, you're right there at 50% retracement of that move.
Yep. So
the leg that it should do right now would be, I should draw this with this guy right here. The leg that it should do right now would be up to there.
Yep.
To 87 roughly, in that range.
And the oil companies are happy because they need crude to be over $70 a barrel for them to be profitable. So they're having keg parties out in the patch and all kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, if you haven't watched that TV show Landman, you got to go back to episode 1. But it's all about drilling for oil in Texas and the whole industry that's around it and how much money's involved. And I mean, it's got Billy Bob Thornton as the star, and it's just it's got adult language and content, so it's not family material. But if you're not too uptight, it's got great acting, a great storyline, good show.
Okay.
All right.
Good.
Take it away.
Good stuff. All right, here we go. Start here. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Thursday, the 26th day of June, 2025. Now, if you have not taken a free trial with us, go to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button right here. All right, there's no credit card required for the trial. Just click on that purple button. It will bring you to this registration page, which is going to change tomorrow. Bring you to this registration page. Just fill out the form. All right, down here at the bottom, we ask down here for your TradingView login ID. If you want to have indicators on your charts, you want to have the indicators indicating on your charts, you need to get this. Okay, there's only a couple of indicators that we actually use, and they're both on TradingView. So you need to get the TradingView login. Okay. Yeah. So today we had our worst day of the year. I missed some really good trades. It still probably would have been pretty close to our worst day of the year, even if I got those 2 really good trades. But still, it was only $15 today. But if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you got to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. We stopped out on one of the last trades we did on the NQ. We stopped out on, we're at minus 56 on the NQ, plus 21 on the Russell, plus 14 on gold, and plus 4 on the ES. Put us at plus $15 on the morning session. Today it took 12 minutes and 4 trades to get to $1,075 with 10 contracts on. It was $1,075. So even with 10 contracts on, we ended with $150 this morning. Starting out with $1,075 after 4 trades. We only took 15 trades this morning. It was just not that much to do. So that puts us at $13,557 on the month, over 16 trading days, averaging $847 per contract per 2-hour trading day. On the year now, $154,027 over 107 trading days, averaging $1,439 per contract per 2-hour trading day. Now the 2420, it's still intact. It's still going up because I'm not sure it went up from yesterday, but with relatively few amount of trades and a relatively small amount of time to get the goal for the day today, 12 minutes. Well, we had 3 days this month that were 12 minutes and one that was 13. All the other ones were under 10. Many of them under 3 or under. It's just been a good month in the first 3 minutes. Anyway, if you quit trading when you get the goal for the day and you had 1 contract a month, you would be at 6 contracts. We're going to be at 7 next week. We're going to switch to 7. Well, you would switch to 7. And $59,907 in profit. All right, that's gross. The net with my commission rate, you would have traded 859 round turns, and $57,760 would be the net. Okay, the gross hourly would be $4,538 per hour. The net hourly would be $4,375 per hour. Those are pretty good numbers to have, I guess. And that's it. All right, that is that information. There's not a lot of trades to go through here, so we'll be looking for opportunities that might happen, like right here on the ES. If we get a down close on this bar, it's going to be right here at the midpoint, and it'll go into the oversold. Potential for an aggressive trade if you wanted to, or just wait for the up close for the conservative trade. Over here on the gold, we're through the midpoint, and up close on this bar will put us back up above the midpoint, so there's potential for a trade there too. Okay, I don't know how many trade opportunities we're going to get here in this session, but we will probably get a few. All right. Let's see. The up close probably only get a few is what I mean to say. So we got the low here, 44.8. You'd have a high of 45.8. And over here on the ES, we got a low 185, so you can buy 187. 187 is right below the high of the day. The high of the day is up at 187.5. So let's look at the trades. All right, we'll start out here with the gold. This is our whole day in gold right here. Okay, we started out with the break even there. Then from the break even, we had a +2, then +4. I'm sorry, we had a +2 and then a +12 to get us up to 14. And no, we had a +2, then another, I don't know, we got up to 14 somehow. And then we stopped out when there was a trade here on the gold, by the way. Here it is. We got up to 14 and then we stopped out and we went to -1 after the stop out. So between here and here, we're up to 14. And then when we're at -1, we got a +10 on that, got us to +9. And then we got, this was the last trade of the session right here. And we got a +5 on that, got us to 14. And that is the one that got us back up above 0 because we were below 0 at that point. And wow, this happened. Not a whole lot you can do with that right there. Right. And this is what just triggered us in right here. It went a few ticks into profit. It's still sitting right here, right now. Right. It hasn't gone enough to get the stop to break even yet, but it should make it up to the prior swing high. Right. That's what it should do. During the break, there was really hardly anything. Really hardly anything in here during the break. One trade right there. And this one that we have going on right now. That's it. All right. So we're waiting to see if this gets us 5 ticks in profit. If it does, I'll want to stop to break even. So far, it has not. It needs to get up to, actually, if it did actually get up to 0.3, which I don't think it did, I think it got up to 0.2. The high on that bar is 0.2. That's what I thought. If that high gets up to 0.3, then we'll bump it to break even. Okay. But so far, it has not. And that is all we have going there. On the Russell. This is all we had on the Russell right here. We had a +6 and then a +15. That got us to 21. All right, and there, the gold is there now. I'm not going to bump that stop to break even and even lock in a couple of ticks. All right, that's $100 locked in right there. I'll just know if it goes anywhere. But we didn't have a lot of trades here on the Russell. All right, it moved, had big legs, and then the retracement wasn't any good. And then had a big leg, and then the retracement again didn't give you a trade setup. We just got out with 2 ticks on that gold. And then it went through the 100%, had another big leg, nothing you could do. Had a big leg down, nothing you could do. And then we're at the end of the session this morning. So the markets have just been difficult today, right? And that was the Russell. We ended up with plus 21 on the Russell. And the ES. The ES had a trade here too, guys. It just had a trade, and I'm long on the ES. I'm going to put my stop to break even because I should have had it break even already. Going to move that over here. That was from over here, I think. I wasn't even paying attention. Was it from over here? No, it wasn't. Where was that from? I don't know where it was from. Anyway, I took a break even on it. This is the whole day on the ES right here. Right, our first trade on the ES was right here. We picked up 3 ticks. Then we picked up 1 that got us to 4. Then we picked up 6 that got us to 10. Then we stopped out, got us to 0. Then over here we got 4 more. This was right at the end. If I'd have gotten the full 8 ticks on that, or even 7 ticks on that, I needed the full 8 ticks to get to positive. We were actually negative 85 when we took that trade, and I got 4 ticks on that. That got us to negative 35. And then I got 5 ticks on the gold. That goes to plus 15. During the break, though, this is what Dwayne was saying. There is nothing in here during the break. You know, you could have taken this off the midpoint right here if you wanted to. Came down, hit that with the up close right there. You could have taken the next one right here from the midpoint if you wanted to move up. This one, nothing. This one could have possibly taken that. It would have been a break even if you did. And that was it. That was it. So this one that I just took, that wasn't even a valid trade. Why the heck did I take that? I don't know what I took. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. But that was it on the ES for us. All right. And the NQ. Now, this is the whole day on the NQ. Man, we can do all the markets in a single chart. In one single glance, you can see the whole day. That is a rough day or a slow day. So right here, we had 1 trade here on the NQ where we picked up 4 ticks, and then we had 1 trade here where we stopped out pretty much to the tick, and then it ran up. So we had minus 56 on the NQ, and that was it. Minus 56. That was our day. All right, and I did all that in 13 minutes. Actually, I did it all in 5 minutes. I spent 6 minutes talking about crude oil and other stuff. It's just been a painful day today so far. But it's a good time for questions. If anybody has any questions about anything. Just want to check and see who's in here. Steven, I got your question answered right. Wes, I'm sorry I didn't look at the email yet. I ran out as soon as I finished this morning session. Let me go look at it right now. I can probably answer it right now. Let me go and look at your question right now, and I'll see if I can answer it. Okay. Here it is. All right. Then you place your limit order in the DOM. You place the limit left clicking. Or show you're placing a limit order instead of a market order, and then it fills me the current market price. You're doing a right click instead, doing a left click instead of a right click. In your DOM, if you left click right here, I was about Ninja. Well, I think it's about the same thing, right? I don't have Ninja installed on this computer, but I think it's a right click, left click thing, even with Ninja. Okay. You do have single click order modification set on. Let me take a look at what you have set up in here, right inside your DOM. I don't have Ninja on this computer. I am just going to have to break it down and install it on this computer so we can answer questions. But you know what I did do? I got a keyboard for this computer over here, so I can open it up over here and look at it. And actually type something over there. That keyboard came in yesterday. That's why I was a little bit excited about it. I even have Ninja open over there. So I just want to make sure I understand your question though. Okay, because I think it's a difference between right click and left click. What you're doing. In placing your limit order in the DOM, you have a limit order by left clicking on the price. The limit appears to show that you're placing a limit order instead of a market order, and then it fills me at the current market price. Yeah, let me just do it on the DOM over here. On this one that I have running over here. And I don't know if I'm connected, but let me see if I can do all this stuff just to try it out, and then I'll be able to give you an informed answer. Okay. Let me go to the control center and hit connections and turn on this. All right. So I have data now. And if I left click, yeah, it just throws you in right at the market. That's what I thought. Okay. So if I hit close on that and I right click, that's not right either. Oh, I know what it is. You got to do the middle button. The middle button, Wes. It's like the little rolly thing. Click on that, and then choose up. Choose a number of contracts, and then the check mark. I'll make a screenshot of this. It's on the other computer, but I'll make a screenshot of it. Okay, and I'll send it to myself in Telegram, and then I'll show it to you. Okay, paste. Telegram is just awesome. I don't know why I fought it for so many years. Okay, so this is what it looks like on my DOM. If I click on the middle mouse, the middle thing right here, click on that, it's going to bring this up. I set it to 1. You got to do the checkbox, and then it'll put the order on. And then the next time you shouldn't have to go through all that stuff. Okay, so it's the middle thing. Oops, yeah, there's Jada. There's Jada feeding a lemur. I don't know if you guys remember, I told you that I had been buying Bitcoin regularly. I had a regular thing that I did with Robinhood. That's the average price that I've been paying. I've been doing that for years, and that's the average price I've been paying. Oh, I paid. That's my current average price for Bitcoin. I don't know why I had that on there. Property look like for the DOM? Hold on. Let me go find that out. I mean, to make it look like it does. I will show you that in just a second. Again, I'll have to do it through Telegram because it's on my other computer over here. But I'm just glad I have the other computer there. Hang on. Paste. I can just send this to you, Wes, too. Send me a message. Oh, here, you're right here. Okay, there. I sent it to you in Telegram. But this is what it looks like for anybody that's wondering. To make my DOM look like that other picture just was, this is how I have things set up. Okay. But I just put it in your Telegram channel too, Wes. Okay. All right. So. General tab. Let me go back over here to this side. I right click. Columns, indicators, templates. Oh, that's what it looks like on mine. I don't have it. Oh, the general. Okay, the general up there. That's what you mean. Okay. I will give you that too. I'll give you the whole thing. Okay. So now that should show up over here. There it is. And I can show everybody else. This is what the general part looks like. Okay. But if you want it to look like mine too, if you want it to look like this, so it looks like a normal DOM, then the colors are what I had in there too, right? Just set the colors the way I have the color set. This right here, right? Do that, and then in the general tab, this is how I have it set. ATM strategy, auto center, all that stuff. Right, that's how I have it set. Okay. I will eventually put it on this computer. Eventually. There's a trade here on the ES, by the way. I just noticed. And there's not a trade here on the Russell. There's not a trade here on crude, and there's not a trade here on the NQ. But the ES up close off the midpoint right here is a valid trade. Okay. Sorry, I didn't look at it. I had to run out and do a bunch of things as soon as I finished the morning session. And I got all the things done that I wanted to do. Fortunately. That's not that guy. Okay, the ES trade, sorry. Send in an email. Stopped right even on the ES trade. I'm going to move to +2 on this because we have no follow through. It should get up to the high of the day. It should go through the high of the day right here. That's what it should do. But who knows? Who knows? Nope. The NQ, that's what I was looking for. I lost my NQ down. Here it is. Found it. All right. Nothing there, nothing there. Nothing there. The NQ on the down close is going to put it in the oversold, but it's not going to be touching the midpoint. So this is something, Dwayne had asked me this question earlier in the morning session when I took this trade over here. I think it was that one. I'm pretty sure it was this one. And what I had said at the time, what it looked like, see the swing low was right here, right? Not the swing, but the midpoint. Let me blow it up so you can see it a little better. Okay, and then move the blue thing out of the way. So the midpoint at the time was right here, and as this bar was building, it was down here, and it was looking like it was going to close down. It was looking like it was going to close up, and it was looking like it was going to close down. And Dwayne was asking, well, what would you do right now? If you got a down close, it would have been ideal. But if you got the up close, what would you do? And I said, well, if you get the up close, I would let it pull back some so that my stop would be below the midpoint. At the time, the midpoint was right here. Okay. And I said, if we got the up close, I would enter on a pullback so that my stop would be down here, below the midpoint level as it was then. Right. Now it gave the up close and that bounced the midpoint up. Well, on the close of this bar, it bounced the midpoint up. Okay. It didn't bounce the midpoint up until this bar closed up. Right. No, it actually bounced it on the up close of this bar. But but that's what I was looking at. So I entered on the pullback right here and ended up taking 4 ticks in profit on that. It did go up. It would have given me the full 8 ticks in profit, but it was the end of the session, so I was just looking for the 4. But I'm saying all this because we have a similar situation happening right now. Okay, if we go to the end of this, it's not in this market though. Over here on the NQ. If we get a down close on this, it's going to be right here. Okay, it's not going to hit the midpoint, but it'll get into the oversold. So the next bar, if it closes up, it'll take it out of the oversold. And if it gives you that, you won't be coming off the midpoint. So if you wait for a pullback, not on this bar, but on the next bar, if it closes up. See, I'm trying to help you guys understand how you can plan a couple bars ahead based on the possible scenarios that you have right now. Like this one right here, we're at the midpoint already. If we get a down close, we'll be in the oversold. We'll want an up close after that. If you get an up close from here, you're not going to have a trade. This one here, if it gives you a down close, you go into the oversold. You want an up close after that, right? You go into the oversold here, but you won't be hitting the midpoint. You know that because it's a range bar. The range bar is going to put you down right here. So you won't be hitting the midpoint. So the bar after that, right? You'll be in the oversold, but you won't be hitting the midpoint. So the bar after that, you want it to hit the midpoint and close up, or just close down, go flat. And then the next one after that will close up. Like over here right now, this is exactly the same thing on the gold. The down close put you in the oversold, but it didn't hit the midpoint. So right now, if you wait for a pullback on this bar, right? If you wait for a little bit of a pullback on this bar right here, then your stop's going to be down here below the midpoint, which is good. And you can just jump in it on the pullback. All right. No, you really want to wait for it to get the up close and pull back on the next bar. You don't want to take an aggressive trade here. You want to wait till the bar closes up and then take the pullback on the next bar. Do you see what I mean? I did a whole thing on this a couple of weeks ago, how you want to position your entry so that your stop is not an area of support resistance. Okay, so we got the down close. Now we're flat right here. If we get an up close, that's great. That'd be perfect if we get an up close from here. Okay, on the gold. This didn't end up closing down, so you have nothing over here. If this closes up, that'd be a great trade. Should be a great trade. It's got a low here of 6.7, so all you have to do is buy 7.7. That was the right mouse click with Sierra. With Ninja, Wes, with Ninja, that'd be a middle, the roller button thing right there is what you press with that. Okay. That's how it's set up with mine anyway. I meant to send you that whole workspace. I can send you the workspace that I have going over there if you want. I can stick it on your Telegram channel. I'm not sure what the workspace is called, but I can save it and send it to you right now. Workspaces. Workspaces. It is called, this one is actually called Ninja 8 Starting Workspace, but I'll do save as and I'll call it Wes. It doesn't have much in it, but it's a starting point. The DOMs and stuff. You can add whatever charts you want after. Right, so still looking at the same thing here, 6.7 up to 7.7. Where else do you get this kind of service?
Well, basically no place.
No place. That's right. There you go, Wes. I just stuck it out there for you. So, did this go down somewhere? It did 0.3, so this needs to go down to 0.3. And it just filled me right there, 0.3. Okay. I stuck it out there in your Telegram channel. So all you need to do with that, Wes, is to get into your Documents NinjaTrader 8 Workspaces folder. Okay. I don't have it on this one, but if I did, you go into Documents, and there'd be a NinjaTrader 8 and Workspaces folder. That's where you have to paste that. Okay.
Don't unzip it, just paste it.
Yeah, just paste it. Yeah. Actually, I think it's an XML file.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, so it's okay. Here we are, +5. There it is. Stop to break even on the gold. It should go all the way up to 49.1. It should go right here. Okay, but I'm going to lock in some profit on this because I can. That's $500 right there. Bang, out. Right, so I know I'm not taking big gains right now, but that's because the market's really not giving them.
Yeah, guys, on the days when the market doesn't have a lot of follow through, don't go chasing big trades because they just aren't there.
They're not.
What the market handed Michael right there, that's, you know, now
half the gold for the day.
it may still continue higher, but bird in the hand is worth a whole lot in the bush.
It is. It is indeed. Oh, wow, we ran out of time already. Man. All right, well, I have a bunch of other meetings coming up anyway. So with that, I will go back here for a minute. And I'll say today we had our lowest day of the year, $15. We made more in this last half an hour than we made all morning. So it is what it is. You know, right there we made, if we just did one contract, we made $50 right there on that one. And I think we made another $37.50 between the ES and whatever else I did this morning in this session. So the trades are out there. You just got to wait and be patient. Don't do anything dumb, right? If the markets are not giving you anything, then don't take anything, right? Like this morning, I was going through that. I was feeling as I was winding down the morning session, and when I was negative in the spreadsheet, I was minus 85, and I was winding down the morning session. I only had a few minutes left, and I was like, well, if I don't do anything, the number that's going to change is going to be this one right here. This 121 would be a 0. I mean, all the other numbers, of course, they'd have whatever they are, but as far as the spreadsheet goes, me running out of time is not going to change a whole bunch. And with 10 contracts on, it's not worth doing anything dumb. With 1 contract on, it's not worth doing anything dumb. To try to manufacture a trade, to try to come up with something that's just not there. Wait for the easy and obvious trades. On days like today especially, wait for the easy and obvious trades. Those are your higher probability trades. Just wait for them to come along. And if they don't come along, stop trading. Come back tomorrow. All right. That is that. Let me just go here. If you haven't taken the free trial, go to mytradingvq.com, click on the purple button. Go to this form, fill it out. Okay. With that, I can pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Dwayne, if you are ready.
I am.
Excellent.
Okie doke. Recap of the morning session.
Today it took 12 minutes and 4 trades to get to $1,075.
Good job.
All right. Thank you.
All right, guys. We made it through all the markets in a granular fashion. If you missed it, if you tuned in late, here's what you do. Wait 30 minutes to an hour after I sign off. Go to youtube.com/CFRN, and you can watch the entire broadcast in its entirety from start to finish. So, we drew earlier a window of opportunity on silver up here. So we need to get above this high, we need to get above this high, and then take profit right before you hit that zone. See, this last candle right here, this candle came within like a penny of hitting the zone. So that's the long side of the story. And the short side of the story is going to be right here. Remember, you only need 2 pennies in silver to get your goal for the day. So if the market were to sell off, you already know what to do if it continues higher. On the short side, you'd be selling 36.40 down to 36.38. That's 2 pennies, that's $100 per contract traded. And there's still some short windows down here that have not filled. Our long window from yesterday, we already discussed, that filled. In Q. Okay. So the short windows, pretty simple. Be selling roughly 22,530 down to 22,510. 20 points, $20 a point. That's worth $400 per contract traded. And if the market continues to move higher, so long at 650 up to 670, 20 points, $20 a point, $400 per contract traded. Now on the ES, we know that our next major resistance is way up at 62.48. We learned that off the daily chart. So we're talking 61.93 up to 99. That's 6 points. Only takes 2 points to get your goal for the day. On the short side, we're only going to be looking for 2 points. 57 down to 55. Better write that in. $61.57 to $61.55. Oh, reminder, members only workshop tonight. So if you've been on the trial, you want to be in the members only workshop, you got an email yesterday or today or both with instructions on how to become a member. Do that, and Valerie will be sending you an invitation this afternoon to be in the members only workshop tonight. And members, please have your questions ready. If you would, please. Russell. Okay, we already have a long window drawn in here. So 2178. Let's see. If we're going to get it at 78, we need at least 2 points. So that's going to be 2180. 78 to 80. Okay. Short side. I don't see much I like there. See, the zone's 56 to 57. And then you got potential support right here at 58. Oh, we could do this. This will work. See if the market breaks down. Selling 64 down to 62. 64 to 62. Okay. Crude oil. Yeah, I'm not even going to mess with it. These two windows that we drew a couple days ago, I'm just going to leave those. Gold. Now gold, you only need $1 movement in price to get your goal for the day. So we're talking about 3360 to 3361, 100 bucks. Short side. Now I'm just going to leave this window down here. I don't really like anything right in here. The Dow. Need 20 points to get your goal for the day. So let's go 37.10 to 37.30. That's enough to get your goal for the day. 37.10 to 37.30. And on the short side, 430 down to 410. 20 points. So there you have it. Now, see how we've already taken out that high? So we're going to bump this up to embrace the new high. The new high is actually 61.92 half. That's 93. Close enough. Okay. Alright. That puts the 50% retracement down here, the 38 here, the 24 here. That's if the market were to start selling off right now, which I don't foresee happening, but yeah, potential support at the step line, at blue and climbing, the BBC, and then this kind of double bottom right here, and then that low right there, and then there. And we still have a gap down here that never filled. Interesting. Okay. To become a member, go to mytradingiq.com, watch the videos, read the content, and then send an email to support@cfrn.net and say I want to become a member. If you're a veteran, say I'm a veteran and I want to become a member, so that when Valerie sends you a return email, she'll compensate for the fact that you're a veteran and that you deserve a discount, because we thank you for your service. In that email, it's going to explain everything it means to become a member or a passport holder. And there'll be a link that you can click to seal the deal and be in the members only workshop tonight. 9 out of 10 new traders fail because they don't have anyone to teach them how to trade. So for 2 hours every trading day, we do exactly that. Michael's putting on, taking off trades, explaining every trade he takes, every move he makes, and you see the results live in real time. These are real trades with real money in live markets. Your job, listen, learn, trade along in your demo account so you can qualify to go live and ask every question that pops into your head. Along with 2 hours of group training every day in an interactive environment, you also get private one-on-one mentoring. Just got to request it. The strategy you learn, the indicators you own as a passport holder, are fluid across all markets and all time frames. Stocks, futures, crypto, Forex, ETFs. Doesn't matter because price flows the same across all markets and all time frames. From support to resistance, back to support, back to resistance, over and over again and again. It's just how markets work. As a passport holder, you get the Logic 247 alerts around the clock. You get the concierge trade alerts the second they're published each evening, which is typically 5 minutes before the markets open. Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern, you'll get the weekly trading zones. Once the zones are published Monday morning, they're carved in stone for the entire week. They don't change in any way whatsoever. And every Thursday afternoon, as a member, you'll get an invitation to join us for the members only workshop. Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. That's tonight. And you're going to get the golden key that opens the private channels in Telegram. When you're on the trial, you have access to the public channels. So you can talk to our traders, ask them about their journey. Why is this place different from any other place? And they'll tell you. It's really simple. We're as transparent as anyone could possibly be. Everything a trader needs, all under one roof. One low price. All right, let's wrap it up with our good word for the day. Last 2 days we've been talking about resolving conflicts. Today we're going to talk about help for caregivers. Psalm 142, verse 3. When my spirit felt weak within me, you knew my path. One day, you may end up caring for a sick or aging loved one. Could be a parent, could be a spouse. And to care for them properly, you must learn to take care of yourself. Following her parents' deaths 5 weeks apart in a nursing home 1,200 miles away, American journalist Beth McLeod succumbed to clinical depression. By ignoring my physical and mental health, I set myself up for a breakdown that would take 2 years to recover from. Despite its rewards, caregiving can be overwhelming. Now, David said in Psalm 142, verse 3, when my spirit felt weak within me, you knew my path. So if you're a caregiver or about to become a caregiver, follow this. Number 1, set boundaries. Learn to say no where you would routinely say yes. There's nothing selfish about taking care of yourself so you can give the best possible care to someone else. Number 2, beware of harmful coping patterns. Misusing medication, overeating, drinking to take the edge off. You're human. It can happen. Number 3, don't isolate. Invite some friends over who have volunteered to help. One can cook and care for your loved one while you and another friend take a walk. Number 4, ask for help. If family members aren't pulling their weight, call a meeting and delegate responsibility. Don't deny others the blessing that comes from encouraging the faint-hearted and helping the weak. It's 1 Thessalonians 5:14. And number 5, protect your time. It's easy to schedule every minute with nothing left over for yourself. Don't do it. Find something that feeds you. Read, pray, exercise, enjoy some solitude. And what's more, schedule it or it won't happen. That's our good word for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.